Hello and welcome to Channel Sport this morning. Many thanks for joining us again. I am Taya Salam. This is what the show looks like. Of course, on the back of what happened yesterday, the Tigers are protesting unpaid allowances and wages. The NBBF are reacting to those allegations. We have their take on the situation later on the show, pretty much saying it's not their fault. Also in sport this morning, still talking basketball, Brooklyn Nets all-star guard Kyrie Irving standing his ground on not being vaccinated despite financial and sporting consequences. Still in sport this morning, this time around in tennis, where the top seed Daniil Medvedev has been knocked out at Indian Wells by Grigor Dimitrov. Right, so that's it for the headlines. There's still a lot more to come on the show in the course of the next 55 minutes. Rotimi Akindele is making a comeback after some time out on the sidelines. Rotimi, good morning. It's great to have you back from wherever you've been.
Good morning, Taya. Good to be here. Sounded like you've missed me.
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh, that's good.
A little bit.
That you admitted.
It's good to have you back, Rotimi.
Thank you.
There's a lot to digest on the show today, starting with tennis, where we saw one of the greatest comebacks of the season between Daniil Medvedev and Grigor Dimitrov. That was in the fourth round of the BNP Paribas Open going on at Indian Wells in California. Grigor Dimitrov looked for a long period in that game like it was done and dusted, like it was out. There was no way back for him. But somehow he managed to roll back the years, battled back from 4-6, 1-4 down in the fourth round to advance 4-6, 6-4, 6-3, and reach the quarterfinals for the very first time.
I mean, good one for Dimitrov. The Bulgarian had been struggling in the last 2 or 3 years.
Yep.
I mean, there was a time everyone had thought it was going to be one of the biggest things to happen, or the next big thing in tennis. But then again, and then leading up to this particular event, it's not like he's had a fantastic run or a fantastic 2021. So
True.
It's pretty decent that he was able to churn out this result or churn out this win over a top seed like Medvedev.
Exactly.
I mean, it's a morale boosting kind of win. But what happens afterwards? He could go into the next round and then just falters or go back to the same Grigor.
Interesting. Now you're already looking forward to what Dimitrov is going to do next, because after this victory, Medvedev said he didn't see anyone actually stopping Dimitrov from going on to win this competition.
I don't think I want to agree with Medvedev.
We'll see.
There are times you can put all your money, or there were times you could put all your money on Dimitrov. Not recently, not in recent times really. So he could go into that next game and lose. But then again, looks like he's found form or he's in a good run of form now. Let's hope he can go all the way, really.
Let's see. Fingers crossed in this particular game against Daniil Medvedev. Dimitrov struck 25 winners. He was so good on the night. And Medvedev didn't see what happened coming at all. Just to say, I mean, because right now there's a gulf in class between the two players. Top seed, number 1 seed, Medvedev, 23rd seed, Dimitrov. So that's a wide, gap between the two players. And somehow he's found a way to win that particular game, where he's going to take on Hubert Hurkacz for place in the semifinals. That's going to be his next opponent. And talking about Hurkacz, the Polish player, he was in action against Alsan Karatsev, and it was a pole prevailing in straight sets of 6-1, 6-3 to advance to the quarterfinals, where he's going to take on Grigor Dimitrov, like I said. I mean, this guy is the sole representative of Poland on the ATP Tour. He's a very decent player on his day. So this hasn't come as a surprise to me that he's reached the quarterfinals at Indian Wells.
It's not surprising, really. He's featured in almost all the ATP events this year?
Yeah, he's always very consistent.
Exactly, including Grand Slams and all of that.
Exactly.
So looks like that consistency should count for something.
Game, set, and match.
And that's why I'm not surprised he's found himself, to take a Dimitrov, who I feel
6-3.
that was just a one-off.
against Medvedev.
Against Medvedev.
All right.
I wouldn't be surprised really if Lukash goes on to win this one. But then again, it's going to be an interesting game. It's just an ATP event, so you don't have to go all the way to 4 or 5 sets. Just, I mean,
3 sets.
3, just the best of three,
yeah.
and then you're good. But if you ask me who has been more consistent going to that fixture, I'll go
it's
with
Lukash. I agree. So you wouldn't be surprised that one beat if in the quarterfinal matchup, Lukash actually beats Dimitrov.
I wouldn't be.
At all?
Not at all.
That's very interesting. Fingers crossed. We will keep an eye on that matchup. Promises to be very exciting indeed. It was still Indian Wells. Diego Schwartzman is also through to the quarterfinals for the very first time in a long time. As a matter of fact, first time has been to the quarterfinals. Diego Schwartzman, he was in action against Casper Ruud. This was a bit of an upset. It was the Argentine that prevailed in straight sets of 6-3, 6-3 to reach the last 8. Diego had never been beyond the 3rd round in 6 previous appearances at Indian Wells.
Oh, wow.
He's had a very tough season. That's Diego.
He's not one of those big.
Yeah, but it features prominently on the ATP tour, but it's been very tough for him.
It's best for you to always get to feature. You make more money, you get to move up in the rankings and all of that. No matter the level, you get beaten and all of that.
Yeah.
So I think the Argentine has been consistent, especially this year. So really, it's pretty good. Casper Ruud, I think they're all in the same circle. So when you use the word upset, I'm like, okay.
So I use the word upset because, like I said, it's been
in terms of what?
Yeah, Casper Ruud is highly rated. One of the youngsters are highly rated, and Schwartzman. Anyway,
I don't think so.
You don't think so? So they're all on the same level,
exactly.
right?
I don't think he's in that circle of highly rated.
I think he's on his way there. I think he's on his way there.
He could be on his way, or he might be on his way there, but
it's not there yet.
It's not there yet. You probably would look at the likes of Francis Tiafoe.
Nah.
And you want to put you probably want to put those ones, or the Canadian.
Ahead.
What's his name now?
Aliasim.
Exactly. As these are probably guys that are moving closer. But not Casper.
Let's agree or agree to disagree on that one. I really think he belongs to that conversation as well. So we'll see next season if he's able to build on that momentum. Anyways, we're still talking. Okay, that's it for tennis for now. Those are your quarterfinalists. By the time we come back tomorrow, more quarterfinalists that will have emerged at the BNP Paribas Open. And we'll be here to give you all of the updates. Let's move on now to basketball. The NBA season is just around the corner. It's just about 6 days to go before the 2021-2022 season tips off. And teams are gradually getting ready for the big tip-off. That's why they're playing preseason games. We have results of the games that were played from last night and early this morning for you. The Blazers lost against the Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns is looking hot already even before the season started. They won that game 119-74. The Mavs were in action as well too. They absolutely annihilated the Charlotte Hornets 127-59. There were also wins for the Indiana Pacers, 109-107 over the Memphis Grizzlies. A very, very tough game involving the Celtics and the Orlando Magic, and then 103-102 in favor of Orlando. The Pistons lost against the New York Knicks 100-108. The Denver Nuggets were also beaten by the OKC Thunder 108-99, while the Bucks, the defending champions, lost by 4 points against the Utah Jazz. Our focus is going to be on the Celtics taking on the Orlando Magic for obvious reasons. There's a Nigerian in charge of that side. It's never happened before. An African head coach in the NBA, Ime Udoka, suffering his first loss as a head coach of the Boston Celtics. It was a very close game, just the 1 point between the Celtics and the Magic. From what you've seen, it's still early doors, obviously, but from what you've seen of the Celtics under Ime Udoka in preseason, how are they shaping up for the new season?
Well, I don't like to judge based on preseason and all of that. But then again, you probably get to see semblance of the real thing, from preseason.
Yes.
Don't forget as well, one of their key players in Offord just tested positive for
COVID
COVID-19.
didn't play this game, yeah.
You might probably have a delayed start to the 2020-2021 season.
Jalen Brown as well.
Jalen Brown as well. So that might alter the way you want to play or the way you want to approach games, especially going into the full season. But then again, I feel they haven't done really bad.
Not bad.
It's their first loss.
Yeah.
And
so they're 2-1 now.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's not like it's all doomed yet.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't think they're going to have a bad season really. If you have a forward back, if you have Brown back,
Jalen Brown back
for the Celtics, I don't think they'll have a bad season.
Yeah, it's got a good.
It's going to be a decent season. It's got a good team.
Yeah.
So
let's not forget Jason Tatum.
Exactly. So it's not like because we suffered a loss, let's start pressing a panic button. I think that there's a whole lot. We're going to see a whole lot of twists going into this new NBA season. Usually considering the fact that it's the 75th anniversary of the season and all of that. So there's going to be a lot of twists. The way the games have been rearranged as well, just to fit it into that anniversary calendar. You know, we might just get to see some one or two maybe records in terms of streaks, you know, and all of that from either conferences, you know, to just go all the way to the end of the season. So for Celtics, I don't think they should worry. It's one of those blips. I think if you have your key men back, you can actually have a good time this season.
Indeed. And that's exactly what Ime Udoka has been talking about post-match after the game against the Orlando Magic.
Hey, we had a lot of different lineups out there tonight. I loved what I saw overall, especially the young guys stepping up in different roles. Like I said 2 games ago, basically the first game, I said we have the flair for the dramatic, obviously, and want to keep these close games. They made a tough shot, you know, credit to them. They hit a tough shot, but overall, proud of our guys. They played hard, played together, very aggressive defensively, and shared the ball. So they did everything we asked.
Ime Udoka taking positives from the Celtics loss against the Orlando Magic. They've won 2 games and lost just 1. And the season is going to start in about 6 days from now. The Celtics they're looking very good at the moment. So fingers crossed. We're rooting for Ime Udoka for obvious
Why are you rooting?
reasons. I'm just glad to have a Nigerian head coach.
You want to
in the
have
NBA.
the Toronto Raptors story as well?
Exactly. I'm rooting for the Raptors as well. That's it.
Well,
Anyways,
his sister is watching. Yeah, we're rooting for Celtics.
Exactly.
Just saying. But then again, it's the final game of preseason for most of the teams. So I think they'll do well, really.
We'll see. Fingers crossed.
I think they will do well.
All right, so that's it for NBA preseason games. As we continue to build up to the tip-off as well, we've got updates coming from the camp of the Brooklyn Nets, precisely or specifically. I'm talking about Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving has been quiet all this while. It's been a lot of talk about the status for the Brooklyn Nets. The Nets came out a couple of days ago and said, you're not going to play nor practice until you comply with COVID-19 mandates in New York City. And Kyrie has come out finally to pretty much stand his ground. We've got very interesting quotes coming from Kyrie. We'll take all of that now before we get Rotimi's reaction. Kyrie says, and I quote, "This is my life. I get to do whatever I want with this. This is one body that I get here. And you're telling me what to do with this body. This has everything to do with what is going on in the world. And I am being grouped into something that is bigger than just the game of basketball." It continues, "I am staying grounded in what I believe in. It is as simple as that. It is not about being anti-vax or about being on one side or the other. It is about being true to what feels good for me. Nobody's hijacking this voice. Nope. And I'm not retiring. And I am not going leaving this game like that. There is still so much work to be done." Kyrie Irving speaking after the Brooklyn Nets decided to pretty much bar him from the team until he takes the COVID jab. Rotimi, over to you.
Well, it's been a drama that I felt should have been sorted by now.
How do you sort this drama?
Yeah, but then again, because of the stance Kyrie's taken.
There you go.
I mean, it's trying to paint it like it's being what? Haunted somehow.
Yeah, like he's being forced to do what he doesn't want to do.
No, luckily or fortunately for the team, the law is not even by the team.
It's not by the team, it's
The
by
law
the
is by the
states.
state. So if you had probably want to keep playing basketball, maybe there could have been a trade or something. But then again, he can still play. It's just that he can't play
in New York.
In New York, he can still travel with the team and all of that. So,
but the team have now said, no, Kyrie, we don't want a part-time player. You're not going to train nor play with us, even road games.
Because he has pushed them to that point. He's pushed them to that point.
How has he pushed them to that point?
Because there's been loads of talks about how can we get the job, let's go on, or let's move on as a team.
But this is someone obviously who doesn't, for whatever reason, doesn't believe in taking that job.
That's the thing, and that means you can't. If the rest of the crew or the rest of the squad have decided to play for the team and take the job, then why are you making it? Why are you taking a stance that you don't want to? That means if you don't want to, it simply means you're not fitting into the team. And that's why they've taken the stance. So, I can't blame the Nets for making that decision.
No, the Nets have no blame.
Exactly.
No blame whatsoever.
It still boils down on Kyrie. If you want to play basketball with the Nets, then go on. But since he said, he's not going to leave the game like this, hopefully we'll see a possible trade somewhere where you can go to a state where
there's
it's
no
not
local,
mandatory. There's no local laws insisting that before you get into this facility, you have to be jabbed and all.
Interesting. So we'll keep an eye on that situation. One thing is sure, one thing has been clarified now. Kyrie says he's not retiring. That's been the talks going around that if he gets traded, he will call it quits of a basketball. But he says that that's far from the truth. So we'll keep an eye on Kyrie's situation with the Brooklyn Nets. Perhaps it's going to change his mind, or he will continue to stand his ground. I mean, the NBA season...
before he leaves, until he leaves them in the New York City. Maybe.
Interesting. We'll see. That will be such a big, big blow to the aspirations of the Brooklyn Nets in terms of winning an NBA championship. It was supposed to be, the 1/3 of the big three, involving James Harden as well as Kevin Durant. All right, we need to move on with the show now, and let's quickly talk about what's going on in Nigeria. Still talking basketball. Masai Ujiri has been in the country for the past few days now, unveiling basketball courts in Lagos State, and yesterday was the turn of Ilupeju. Coincidentally, you were there. You saw everything that went down, the excitement amongst the kids to have this fresh-looking basketball court being opened for their use.
Brilliant stuff. I mean, no doubt. Especially, you could see the excitement from the students, the pupils, and all of that. Of course, Ilupeju probably had 3 courts. The surfaces look very brilliant, not concrete like some other courts that we know. And then, I mean, the joy there was, apart from the one inside of the school, there were 2 on the Warriors court. So you can actually have games going on simultaneously. Same standard, brilliant uprights, good job by the GOA team and, of course, the guys that had put this all together. But it was really good. You could see basketball prospects, getting excited with whatever is on ground.
To this fantastic story. After the break, we're going to get listen to Masai Ujiri himself talking about the mission for the Giants of Africa on the continent. Join us again. 10 down, 90 to go. The mission is to build 100 courts across the continent, and they're on the way there. Let's just leave it at that. Shout out to the Giants of Africa, Masai Ujiri, and his team for this incredible gesture that they've taken upon themselves to ensure that basketball continues to develop in Nigeria and Africa. By extension, we're still talking basketball. It's not a basketball show, but there's a lot of basketball on the menu. Today is one of those things. Let's go to the unpalatable side. We talked about it on the show yesterday. D-Tigers protesting unpaid wages and allowances and overall general poor treatment from the Federation. Federation, of course, have been reacting, and this is what they have to say.
There were 3 issues raised by the girls. There were 3 issues raised by the girls. Number 1, that no, not allowances. Their training grant has not been paid by the federation. The federation does not pay training grant. Training grant is paid by the Federal Ministry of Youth and Sports and in conjunction with the Nigerian Olympic Committee. And I can assure you, like I told you, that I'm the overseer of the team. The ministry have already held meetings with us, told us that all training grants have been paid, training grants. The second issue raised was issue of the money given by the banks. Some banks gave money, $100,000 for the men, $100,000 for the women, and then there was $130,000. Altogether, $230,000. This money was not paid to the federation. The minister got that money part of the Adopt an Athlete initiative. So the money didn't come to the federation. And I can speak on good authority that we have been briefed as to the efforts being made to pay those monies. The players have been asked to send their bank accounts. You know, it's not, you can't carry dollar and fly across. You have to pay through bank accounts. Some of them have not even sent in their own bank accounts. Even up till last week, this issue also came up. When will we get these full bank accounts? So the point for the girls to say their money is, federation didn't pay them, the money banks gave, they want to chop it, they want to do whatever, is really very, very funny. You cannot pay what you don't have. Nemo that quod non habet. What you don't have, you cannot give. The NBBF doesn't have that money. The banks paid it to the ministry, who are the ones in charge of adopt an athlete. So the money is still intact, like the ministry said in their release. Some people say, no, they said the money is in the NBBF account. Let me clear that. Every federation has an escrow account in the Ministry of Sports. It's still the federation's account, but it is not controlled by the federation. So that is what some people mistake to say, oh, they said the money is the NBBF account. There is no money in NBBF account. Now to the last part, which is that yes, somebody said $8,000. Yes. When they won in 2018, the president personally said, okay, my girls, for the work that you have done, I'm happy. I will give you a personal contribution from me, 1,000. The money is not that, it's the allowance from the ministry. All our allowances due to the players and officials from the ministry have been paid. What they are talking about is the money that the president said, okay, for your hard work, I will give you this. It is a promise. It's not ministry money. It's not government money. Yes, he has not done so. But what I want us to consider, these guys went to the Olympics. They didn't complain. They went to Cameroon. They didn't complain. All of a sudden, they are complaining now. Yes, they have right to complain. But why Facebook? Why social media? Social media is not an official forum of complaint. So we know what is happening. Some people are sponsoring them. We are in the heat of the NBBF elections. So run Kida down. Let us make him look bad so that they will say he is not fit to run. Do you know why? Those people sponsoring them don't even have a candidate yet. So it is a Jankara practice. It is a Jankara way of doing things.
All right, that's Colonel Sam Ahmedu, former NBBF board member, reacting to the D-Tigers' protest of unpaid wages and allowances and generally overall poor treatments from the Federation. We're just hoping all of this can be resolved as soon as possible, because the girls have said that without the monies being paid to them, they will be boycotting future camps. And we all know the World Cup qualifier starts early next year.
Let me just add this.
What do you want to add before I go to Bada?
Yeah, I know. So they should just understand, talking about the NBBF, that the set of players they are dealing with are not like the ones we have here.
They're not.
With all due respect.
Okay.
They are exposed to a different kind of environment, different kind of upbringing, different kind of ways of how things get sorted or get done. So if you are selling the Nigerian factor in quote to them, it doesn't go well. And that's why we have all of this. So we'll just wait, really. The only thing I don't want is don't politicize this. Don't come out and tell us because the elections are coming up on the 30th. Some people are sponsoring these girls, and that's why they are protesting.
For the monies that are owed.
We understand the Nigerian factor of money and government and CBN, but hey,
all right,
just get it sorted.
Hopefully it's sorted as soon as possible. But Akitunde Johnson is ready to join us as well. So, but before we go on into the football talks, quick one on the situation between the Tigers and the Nigeria Basketball Federation.
Unfortunate, but I'm not surprised. The Nigerian sports space is a cesspit of some sort. All manner of nonsense carry on there, and they are paraded as the normal way. I'm listening to the insert that was played before I came on now. I was sick to the pit of my stomach, to be honest. It's unfortunate that our sport is still being run by mediocres. I'll pull no punches because we kind of like gloss over these issues, and it's the reason why we are where we are. These girls have done their bit. They're professionals, world-class professionals who are used to things being run by professionals, not professionals being managed, led by a bunch of mediocres. And yet again, we have made a show of shame of our affairs in the side of the world. These girls have following, cutting across different audiences from around the world. And people from the international space, yet again, will look at us as, that country where they just never seem to get anything right. The girls are not proud. Yes, sadly. Unfortunately, they don't know that it's just a bunch of people who have, sworn to an oath with mediocrity. There are excellent people who are in leadership in Nigeria who, unfortunately, don't get into those positions. So you clearly find a situation where it's square pegs and round holes, and it is professionals like this who suffer the consequence of that. Nigeria keeps benefiting from where we haven't exactly sown. These girls weren't brought up here. They didn't have the facilities that made them world-class here. They didn't get the training that made them world-class here. If it was down to the structures and the systems built by these administrators here, those girls will be nowhere near being African champions. Fact. But like it is with our football, these people find their way abroad or are born abroad, and then take advantage of all the systems and the functional structures in place. And then we call them to come play for us. They, of course, because of the strong emotional attachment to the country, they come represent us, they win laurels for us. And the barest minimum that we have to do for them, we still fail at it. It's such a shame. And these guys should actually hide their faces in shame, but they have no shame, clearly. So let them carry on trying to politicize it, saying it's because of an election, but we know better. We're not fools. And they just, like Rotimi said, they should just do all of us the favor of sorting it out.
Yeah, as soon as possible. As soon as possible. That's where we're going to leave it for now. Of course, we'll continue to monitor the situation, and if there's any updates on it, you'll be the first to know on sports this morning. Let's move on with the show now. Let's talk football. Of course, we've got a football analyst extraordinary with us, Bada. And let's go to South America, where World Cup qualifiers are going down as well. So we've seen in Europe, we saw in Africa as well. Tonight is going to be the turn of Brazil. Brazil are seeking to maintain their 100% qualifying World Cup qualifying record when they take on Uruguay. It seems Tite is definitely doing a good job since taking over the Samba boys, but they seem to be flying under the radar. I mean, they've won all of the matches in qualifying so far, 28 points. I mean, they're looking good for Qatar 2022.
Yeah, they're doing good, but they drew against Colombia goalless the last time out. So they don't have a 100% record actually. But it's something close to that. They've been incredibly consistent since Tite took over. They won the penultimate Copa America. They lost the last one in the finals to Argentina. And like you said, they've continued that impressive showing in these qualifiers. And they have, I think, a 6-point gap over Argentina, who beat Uruguay, the team that Brazil plays in this particular game. Obviously, these are the names that we mentioned as strong favorites to qualify for the World Cup from that zone. Uruguay, Brazil, Argentina, Colombia. So it's a big game, Brazil against Uruguay. In the last game, though, Uruguay were battered by a Lionel Messi-inspired Argentina 3-0. Even though, if you watch the first half of that match, it didn't look like Argentina was going to win or win that convincingly, because it was Uruguay that was asking all of the questions early on. Luis Suarez came close a few times, but once Messi scored from 35 yards, Argentina just bossed the game till the end. Lautaro Martinez scored as well. Rodrigo de Paul scored as well. And Uruguay just didn't have any answers. And if you look at Uruguay's position on the table, we can almost safely say that Brazil and Argentina are through. Uruguay still have a lot of work to do to qualify. So I expect that, like Colombia did, they will be looking to be defensively solid. In the post-match interview after Argentina beat Uruguay, Messi was saying that they knew that the Uruguayans were going to be very solid defensively and wait for the moments to capitalize on counterattacks. And their approach is not going to be different against Brazil in this game. They're going to put 2 banks of 4 in front of Neymar and co. And ask them to come break them down. And they would, wait for their moments and strike with the pace of the Cavani's and the ruthless finishing of Luis Suarez and, the host of other experienced, very, very top quality players that they have in that team. So it's a qualifier that anyone who loves football should be looking forward to seeing. Yep. But like you said, the Brazilians are hot favorites. They've just, sort of blitzed through this particular. At a point, they had a 9-point gap over second place Argentina before that draw against Colombia and before Argentina's win against Uruguay. But they are still favorites. And the most interesting thing that has come out in the media in the lead up to this game is Neymar's revelation that he might not play another World Cup after the one in Qatar. Yeah. So if Qatar is his last World Cup, then expect him to be looking to make all the magic that he possibly can between the qualifiers and the main tournament, because if there is any sort of gap or negative on his CV, it is that he hasn't won the FIFA World Cup. He's won the Copa. He's won the Olympic Games. He's won the UEFA Champions League, but he's just never won the FIFA World Cup. So if he says he's only playing this last one, then he's going to be looking to making it count.
All right, we'll see if Brazil can maintain their unbeaten record as in the qualifying for the FIFA World Cup in CONMEBOL. Argentina will be in action as well too. They'll be taking on Peru. I mean, these World Cup qualifiers in South America can be very, very tricky.
Oh, I mean, that is the most difficult zone to qualify from, Tayo, if you ask me, because they have very strong teams, almost back to front. Yeah. Even the likes of Bolivia, Peru. Bolivia, for instance, you go to the high altitude in La Paz, and it snuffs the life out of you. I remember Argentina losing a World Cup qualifier 5-0, at that venue. And on one occasion, on multiple occasions, Messi has played there and was throwing up the whole time because of how difficult the conditions are. Chile, for instance, are struggling. I think they're in 6th or 7th place. Paraguay struggling. So it's never straightforward. It's not like Europe where Belgium will beat San Marino 7-0, 8-0, right. And do that with trounced, Lithuania, all those Kazakhstan and co. They don't exist in South America. All of the teams are strong. And it's what makes the qualifiers very competitive and very interesting to watch and follow. I particularly like following the games, even though they are played at odd hours, because of the quality on display. I think Peru, they've lost some of their talisman in recent past. I think they finished in the recent Copa America. They finished 3rd. They were at the World Cup recently as well. But they've always produced top quality players, top quality teams. The Colo-Colos of this world. They always have,
they're a very competitive side. Yeah.
Yeah, the national team that competes, and Argentina would have to to be at their very best. But the thing to note is that since Argentina switched coaches, they have been on a 24-match unbeaten run themselves. And in that time, they've also won the Copa America. And they've got Messi, they've got Lautaro Martinez. They've got all of this players. And a solid goalkeeper in Emi Martinez.
Right.
Now, so defensively, they're solid. They're not conceding goals. They played Uruguay. They didn't concede a goal. And that's a difficult task because you're defending against Cavani, Luis Suarez, and all these superstar players that Uruguay has got. But they didn't concede because, they never looked like conceding all through that game. So Argentina will win this game. Maybe Messi, again, with that goal he scored against Uruguay, has become the first South American player in history to score 80 international goals. Yeah, he'll be looking to kick on from there. But there's only one winner in this one, Tayo. Another Argentina winner.
All right, we'll see how it pans out later or early tomorrow morning. We need to go on a break now. We'll come back. We'll be telling you all about what is going on at Newcastle and the search for a new manager, even though the manager right now is still in the job. Join us again. You're welcome back to Channel Sport this morning. Newcastle United are looking for a new manager, even though Steve Bruce is still in charge. And we're hearing to sack Steve Bruce is going to cost the new owners £8 million sterling. Obviously, that's a chicken change.
Exactly. I mean, you can understand why I had to chuckle.
Yeah, but I mean, it's unfortunate, but that's the game. This is the game.
Well, I don't think it should be sacked though, because if you're going to bring in players, you have to probably bring in players in January. So why sack the manager now?
Yeah, because it's a new tenure. They want a new beginning. They want a new everything, and that's
you
why.
Want to do that while the season is on?
Yeah, why not? Anyways,
I don't know.
Yes.
Although they said they have ambitions like Man City, PSG. Yeah. That's what the lady Amanda actually come out to say.
Yep.
So let's expect to see a new Newcastle maybe from next year. Throwing all the monies around.
Of course.
Leave Bruce till you guys want to
I
sign
see,
big players.
I see what you're saying in terms of what is the hurry, right?
Exactly.
Perhaps they're trying to make sure that they don't get relegated.
If you bring a new manager now with this sort of players, and then you try to cheap out like half of the players next year, what's the point?
Anyways, what's the point? Bada, before we let you go, your thoughts on Newcastle's managerial search, even though Steve Bruce is still in charge. Some managers have been linked, the likes of Frank Lampard, Steven Gerrard, Antonio Conte. Early this morning, Brendan Rodgers ruled himself out of that post.
Had sympathies for Steve Bruce, but the fan base does not support him. The fan base doesn't think that he has the quality. And prior to now, the only reason they stuck with him was because they couldn't afford better. Now that they can, they want him gone, and he's going to go. They're not going to wait till January. He's just going to go. The list of managers that are being linked with Newcastle doesn't really inspire me, except for Antonio Conte, Lampard and Gerrard. Can't push them into that level. We saw how Lampard was sort of out of his depths at Chelsea. If they want to push at the level of City and Manchester and Chelsea, they need to get a top manager who comes in there, sees what's on ground, uses between now and January to sort of give the players an opportunity to play for their future in the team. And then in January, he brings in the first set of top quality players to further improve the team. What we know for a fact is that if you bring in Antonio Conte, he will easily achieve what Steve Bruce would achieve with maybe the last kick of the league season, which is survival. They will stay in the top division. But he would have started laying the groundwork on which they build for the future. The earlier you can get a top manager in, the better either ways. He needs, time. He needs to understand the structure, the system. He needs to bond with the fans. He needs to get about his job as early as possible. So that's what's going to happen. The £8 million is not a lot of money for them. They're going to pay Steve Bruce and show him the door and bring in a top manager and start, plotting and planning towards the first transfer window opening up in January. And then we can see maybe 6, 7, 8 players come through the door and push them to a much higher level. And then they can consolidate in the close season when, they have about 3 months to plan and to sort of do a proper makeover the soul of Newcastle is not going to transform instantly. Even with Man City, it didn't happen instantly. Man City had a transition period where Mark Hughes was in charge before they started bringing in all the Roberto Mancinis of this world. And so it's going to take them about a full season and a half to two, again, because this is not France. This is England, where there's already Man City, there's Liverpool, there is Manchester United. There's other, top teams with top players that you're not going to just push aside because now you can afford everyone and anyone in world football. So the next few weeks, few months will be very interesting. But one thing that is sure, Tayo, is that Newcastle will just never be the same.
Yeah, they'll never be the same, and the fans are very excited and looking forward to this incredible new era, potentially, of course. But I want to thank you for your time. Appreciate it very much.
Thanks for having me.
All right, Newcastle, we will. What do you want to say about Newcastle in terms of the players that they're being linked with it as well? Unfortunately, January is not the best time to go for your main target. It's very difficult to get your main targets in January. But then they've been linked with players like Van der Beek, Anthony Martial, Aaron Ramsey, Longele, Lingard. I mean, they're players that can actually pick from in January. Might not be their ultimate targets, but...
get a coach first, just like Bada said.
Yeah.
Get a coach, come, see what you want to do, and then get this kind of players that can help you achieve what you want to get at the end of the season or at the end of a campaign.
Which is to stay in the Premier League.
Which is to stay in the Premier League. And now that you now have more monies to play around with, you can actually get players that could win you titles. You could start with the cup games, the League Cup, the FA Cup, and all of that. But at least just get players that could deliver that on a regular. And then you can go ahead and compete with the likes of Chelsea, United, Liverpool, City, in terms of fighting for the title. So
one thing is certain, money is not going to be an issue.
It's not.
For this new...
That's why I said, even if Steve Bruce, if you pay him $8 million, he can even put add-ons. Thank you for your time,
for being loyal and all of that as well, too.
All, yeah.
And from what Bada said, Bada seems to be going towards an Antonio Conte as the new manager for Newcastle. Why not?
That name stands out for me.
Stands out.
While you were reading the names out. That
was the only name,
Lampard, Gerrard, why? Rogers had to rule himself out. The only person that could probably give you that sort of winning mentality straight up is Antonio Conte. And if it comes, some of these names you're mentioning might not fit into his plans. So why not get the manager, let him get the players that could work with him, fit into his plans, and then start to deliver the goods for you.
Interesting. Fingers crossed. We will continue to monitor the Newcastle managerial search. And as soon as a new manager, as soon as a new coach is employed, we will be letting you know on Sports This Morning. Time to look at the papers before we close the show. We're starting off with Sports in Life. January transfer window. Atletico Madrid to offer 10 billion naira for Paul Onuachu. That's very interesting. We thought Paul was going to move in the summer. Didn't pan out. Now we're hearing Atletico Madrid are interested. That would be a good move, surely.
It would be a good move. Going to Spain, I mean, it's a it's a bigger league than where it is right now.
Talking of and the champions of as well.
Of Spain. But well, if that happens, would be fine. Let's see how well he fits in. Really, Suarez is aging. Griezmann hasn't really clicked. Lemar hasn't really brought his A game to the party. So if Paul can make that move and stay consistent, why not? All
right, we'll see if that move materializes for Paul Onuachu. Aguero scores an unofficial Barcelona debut. Aguero and injuries in the last couple of seasons. No surprise, he started his Barca career on the medical table. But it's good to have him back. Scored in a friendly. And the coach, Ronald Koeman, will be looking forward to deploying the services of the Argentine pretty soon in the league.
He needs his experience.
Yes.
Hopefully he can stay fit, and then let's see if Barca fortunes can actually turn around for good.
Indeed, Cavani should leave Manchester United in January. That's according to Gustavo Poyet, former Uruguayan international as well. Too, Osimhen has great personality. Of course, Ronaldo bags 10th Portugal hat trick. That was yesterday or day before yesterday. Actually, Complete Sports is our next paper. Umar Sadiq medical market value rises to 18 million euros. That's another Nigerian striker doing well in Europe right now. Man City to resume Foden contract talks. Very interesting. City plan Holland talks in January. Of course, they're not going to get him in January, but you can start talking, right? Cavani urged to leave Manchester United in January as well too. Fury, I don't know if I need to fight anymore. I think we're just going to take it from here. Tyson Fury, after that incredible victory over Deontay Wilder, some people have said, as a matter of fact, it was Carl Froch that said he wouldn't be surprised one bit if Tyson Fury actually retires from boxing.
We can, I mean, he's that sort of guy that
he's that kind of character.
Yeah,
he is quite
that kind of character. He might just come up. But then again, if he looks at, okay, Dillian White, probably the next mandatory challenger comes up, I can beat you.
Yeah.
And then what happens? Do I still want to see the all British fight? Let's support Joshua to probably winning the bout against UCK again. Then, let's have that and then call it quits. Yeah. But knowing who Fury is, he could come out tomorrow and tell you, you know what, I'm done with boxing. But that would be such a crazy decision because... But that's Fury for you. Yeah, I don't see him doing that because I feel he can actually go for the ultimate of unifying the heavyweight division and becoming the undisputed. We've not had one since Lennox Lewis, so why would you want to retire when you're just one step away from doing just that? But fingers crossed, like you said, this is Tyson Fury we're dealing with, expecting unexpected. I agree.
Appreciate your time, Rotimi. Thanks for coming on the show and stop being a stranger. All right, thank you all. Thank you all for watching as well. Enjoy the rest of your day. I am Tayo Salam.